Hello, welcome everybody back to Speakin My Piece, presented to you by Jazz Times. My name's Lewis. I'm here at the Rope-A-Dope Room. We're hosting this. Each week, Dekel Bor brings a new musician on to talk about life, art, music, and anything else that's relevant. It's a nice in-depth series. We've got a lot of great guests today. I have the great pleasure to welcome Trumpeter Keyon Harrold. I just strongly recommend that you go right to his website, keyonharrold.com, and dig into the mission, the message. I was just told that now that Keyon is appearing on the show, that the line is out the door. So without further ado, I am going to check our audio feed and stream. But first, let me welcome from Berlin, Mr. Dekel Bor. Dekel, how are you?
I'm good. I'm happy to be here. I kind of promised myself and you guys that as we begin this project, there will be no nepotism, and all the guests are legends within the likes of Ron Carter and John Scofield and such. With that being said, and I said I would not include my immediate family. With that being said, I don't even know how to introduce this guy. There's almost no one that I have this kind of respect for. There's almost no one that I have this kind of love for. It's hard. Usually, the longer you know someone, the less enchanted by you are to what their thing is. But this guy has zero shticks in his arsenal. It's all, I don't want to use the word greatness, it's just thrown out too often, but I'm going to get into all of this today, and I will tell you why. So, Key, man, what is up?
Yo, what's up, Dekel? What's up, bro?
Man, I've been looking forward to this. First of all, how you doing? How's little Key? How's Emmanuel? How's Kathy? How's the family?
I actually just got off the phone with Emmanuel. Just got off. He's good. Little Key's, 14 years old. I don't have a little Key anymore. He's a big man. He's a big little Key.
He's a good-looking guy right there.
Yeah.
He looks like his mother, man.
Thank God for that.
That's all right things.
I'm happy that he chose to take after his mom.
So you guys been safe? It's been a crazy year. Everyone is safe. Everyone is well, more or less.
Family's well. Friends are well. Doing the best we can, trying to stay safe. With the mask, with as much as possible, social distancing, and trying to just be cool, take precautions, and so we can live to fight again.
Yeah, there you go. So, first of all, I'm going to apologize, man. Every time I've been hitting you the past few months, I'm good with checking up on all our mentors, all the elders, man. How you feeling? You need anything? What can I do for you? Are you well?
Mm-hmm.
But with my brothers, every time I reach out to you, it's like a work thing. So, man, and it's once a month or every 2 months, and it's usually a favor, and you always just goes, yes.
Absolutely.
But with that being said, now we have all this time on my hand. I'm going to give you a few of the regular questions. What have you been listening to that's kept you inspired, over the past few months that we're all at home?
I'm listening to a lot of different things. Since we're talking about the Rope-A-Dope family, listening to Christian Scott's new record.
Yep. There you go.
What else? There's so much music out there. I listen to the radio stuff. I'm listening to the new Fleet Foxes record right now. I'm listening to
my girlfriend was driving me crazy with that album.
Hey, it's a vibe. It's really like it's super earthy and super cool. I guess who else am I listening to? Snow Allegra. I don't know. It's a lot of different people and classic. Frank Sinatra and Miles Davis and just cool stuff. I've been checking out a lot of documentaries. I checked out the Frank Sinatra documentary, which is ridiculous. It's amazing.
I've been planning to do one on Netflix.
Yeah, check it out. It's really good, thoughtfully done. So many things that I didn't know about Frank Sinatra. Just him being one of the people who really stood up for the idea of desegregating black musicians. It was a really, really cool thing. And then there's a whole JFK kind of strand behind it, which is also very interesting. So check that one out. That's been cool.
There are always legendary stories about that guy, as far as financial generosity and just the fact that he would not play the gig unless Sweet Addison could walk in with him. Shit like that.
There it is. Yeah.
So, because you brought up the word documentaries, you open that wormhole.
Okay.
What's the story? I mean, they called someone in the entire universe to play the role of Miles Davis. I mean, you get a call like that. What's happening? I mean, Grammy and Oscar, this and that, but what happened in the essence of it?
The essence of it, Robert Glasper, that's my brother, good friend. He was working on the Miles Davis film, and they wanted to get a trumpet player who could, I guess, portray, the legacy of Miles Davis, for somebody who respected it and who loves it. And it wasn't anything that was contrived, anything like that. Just pure respect and pure, just respecting the legacy, standing on the shoulders of Miles Davis. So they called me and asked me would I do it. We started, doing a couple demos, and I guess they played it for people, and they were like, okay, this will work. So, from that's how it started. So Don and Don Cheadle and Rob, they let me do what I do, and we were able to really put it together. I learned a huge amount of, working on film, a lot. I got a chance to, play with the legend Wayne Shorter, which was amazing. To stand next to him and record, that was incredible. Thinking about the greats who stood next to him in the studio, from Miles to Lee Morgan to Freddie Hubbard. It was just, an amazing experience, learning experience, literally out of the galaxy, man, how cool it was.
Wow. Did you have any idea what the impact of that would be?
I really didn't. I mean, I was, afraid. I mean, obviously there's mixed reactions to the whole idea of it, because, you got the purists, then you got the ones who were like, yo, that shit was super cool. Then you got the ones that were like, okay, as a movie, I felt this way. But musically, I felt this way. I mean, obviously, people are going to say what they want to say about whatever you do, no matter what. You can never please anybody, everybody. But, I felt like the integrity was kept. I felt like the energy of the music, especially the original music that went with it, which was super cool.
Yeah, completely. I thought it was a very, very brave move on everyone's part, especially Rob's.
Mm-hmm.
And it gave a lot of credit to the actual movie, just to have its own music, I felt.
Mm-hmm.
But man, to be perfectly honest, I don't think there's anyone that I could ever chosen for that role other than you. I mean, it comes down to just a few people, but for whatever reason, I'm going to get to that later, but when we advertise it, we allow people to ask questions in comments for the guest. Mm-hmm. And someone DMs me asking me, they asked you, how did you practice to sound the way you did? And I didn't even need to ask you that. I'm like, give this guy 35 or 30, 80 years of going through, of living through music. There's no way to practice what this guy does.
That's
So before I'm getting to your album, I'm just gonna give first of all, man, congrats on that album. It's an amazing album. We're gonna get to it deeply and thoroughly today. Two things strike me. As someone that's been following your thing for almost 20 years, man. When I heard that album, compared to the albums that I heard beforehand, it was as if someone was like the best runner in the Olympics, but now he's flying on his own to Mars. I mean, the conceptual leap was just so.
Wow, man.
It's an incredible album in so many ways. The first being the myriad of worlds that you authentically live in. I mean, it's just like, it's kind of like you invented a genre. And it's amazing to me that almost less than a year after, I started seeing a lot of other albums that are kind of stealing your shit and copying the sound. And so can we talk a little bit about that huge leap from playing the greatest acoustic jazz of nowadays to doing something? I mean, when someone has your vocabulary and your command and your persona, and then you put lyrics up front. I mean, just to have that generosity and that understanding of culture. There's just so much. There's just so much there.
Man, there is so much there, and I've never heard it described like that. But you're on the money for what it is. I mean, the idea of the musician was a correlation of my experience as a musician, as a professional musician. When I first went to New York, my first gig was playing with Common. So it changed my whole thought. I thought I was going to be, just this, straight ahead, quintet. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to be like Clifford Brown or Miles, head the band, and that's what you do. But my whole introduction was checking out, Fela and Hugh Masekela and learning, that part of, and learning hip hop and really figuring out how that all worked together. I had to figure out how to be a jazz musician over hip hop beats. Like I learned that, and I wasn't even trying to, it just happened. So, as the years passed, I got a chance to work with Jay-Z and Mos Def and all of these guys.
Wait. Just because I want to, before we go to Jay, I remember me playing in this small little club in the village. I had a weekly thing on it. And I gave you a call. You were in town, and I gave you a call. I texted you and said, "Man, I'm playing. Come down." And you come in, and I was like, "So where you at?" I've been on tour with Jay-Z, and I'm like, "How do you get how?" You pick up the phone and it's Jay. Like, how does this not something that happen?
I mean, I never picked up the phone and it was Jay, but Lauryn Hill, yes, and everybody else, but not Jay. Jay was different. He was on a whole another plane. But it just happens. I mean, people hear about you. They hear about what you do, whether it's been on other records or just a good reputation. People can respect the real. People can respect, things that need to be respected. So I've been blessed to have the opportunity to work with, some amazing people.
Man, speaking about the real, I've seen people lose their heads over gigging at Smalls, and you would come back to town on a monthly basis playing the Garden or God knows what, and just the humbleness that you would bring to every little session. It never failed to blow my mind. I don't think I ever told you this.
Bro,
I mean, it never failed to blow my mind. It just speaks so.
It's because the music is the humbling, factor. Because I'm always looking to the music because it's always changing, it's always growing, and it's the thing that keeps me coming back. No matter where you go, in whatever arena you're playing in, there's a basis for why you even aspired to get there. And for me, like I said, when I moved to New York, I wanted to play the straight ahead kind of music, thinking about the greats, Freddie Hubbard, thinking about wanting to play with Art Blakey and dreaming about that. That's never left me, not even to this day. The other day I did a gig, we were doing a stream for Smokes the other week, which was great, and we played the core. And it was just kind of like, man, that stuff never leaves you. You can go and you can work on all the new shit, and it can be cool, it can be fun, it can be fashionable, but the essence of what the architects built is so important, and it still inspires me every day. That's the reason why I can listen to Miles every day. I can listen to Clifford Brown every day. I can listen to Herbie every day and pick up something else. And the music is my, great leveler. So that's why I'm always humble in any scenario. I can be playing with, a person who just started studying at the new school. They might be the next voice. I'm not gonna be like, oh my God, I play with so and so, fuck you. Nah, everybody has something to say, and it's an honor and a privilege to even, playing with you, playing with whoever. It's just kind of like, man, everybody has something to say, and I can learn from it. So that's what keeps me coming back.
And man, speaking about the language, if someone just listens to the album for like any way you drop the needle, you hear the entire history. Like you would hear the second quintet for 1 second, just that vocabulary in the most authentic way, and then you quoting "Summertime" and St. Louis Blues at the same time. I mean, it's really it's unbelievable, especially for me being Israeli, where I remember being 15, hoping to one day play this music in an authentic way. Like I had to chase drummers that had a thing to learn about it. But for me, you always kind of signify that in the most incredible way. And I remember just coming to New York, you came a minute before me, people were already speaking about you. I mean, the vibe was huge. And yeah, just like from the way it seemed in my eyes, you were famous by the time you were 15 among our little pool of people that go to, I don't know, the camp or whatever. So anyway, I'm gonna go through the Mugician for a minute. There's just so much on it. I'm thinking that in a couple of years, when you get bigger than this, if you can, the Wayfarer thing that's like one of the best written things I've heard in years, maybe the tune of the decade. Honestly, I mean, you know how difficult it is to write something that kind of stays with you. That is original. That's not a cliche. To write a strong melody that's unique and really, you can put it in your pocket in a way. How did that come about?
Man, Wayfaring Traveler, literally, I was messing with some, I started singing it first. I was working on some music, and I put on this plug-in, this octave doubler and I wanted to sound like Darth Vader. So I started singing, and I did it, and I was like do 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 in like 3 octaves. The super high one, the mid register, and the low one, and it just touched me. After that, I added the horn, and then I put down the African drums, and then we just built it out. But that song with Georgia Ann Muldrow and Chris Dave and Glasper and Jermaine Holmes. Who else is on that? Sam Barsh.
Barsh, man, I haven't seen him in years.
Oh yeah, he's doing great. He's doing amazing things. He's on every other record that you feel like, oh, that was cool. He's probably
So when you say for music on the album, you prepare your own demos coming into the studio? Like, what's the process like?
Yeah, I always do my own demos. Cause I got a lot of different strands to being connected to music. Just for me as a solid hip hop producer. When I worked with Common, after I stopped working with Common, because he did another record that didn't, need a trumpet to tour, I got into music production. So from that, I started producing a lot of music with G Unit and 50 Cent and LL Cool J and Mobb Deep and so many different people, and inspired by Dilla and the whole light. So for a long time, I was just doing music, like producing, like doing beats and going to Player Smalls, doing beats.
Man, I didn't know any of this.
Yeah.
I was being so tight, and I still didn't know. Like, you're just such a secretive guy and such a humble guy. I didn't know any of this, and we speak regularly.
Yeah. So that's what I'll sit with an MPC or now Native Instruments machine or whatever, and I'll do beats, whatever. But the idea of music production You know, I was doing that as well as, you know, going out and playing, as well as touring. I was, you know, doing placements, doing licensing things, you know, with the NBA and with different people.
Mm.
So I've always done that. So I've always been able to, you know, produce my own demos. So when people hear it, they know what it is. It's no question. Nobody's trying to figure it out.
How involved, how intricate are the demos? I mean, what are we talking about? Just trumpet and keys, or
No.
beats and bass and?
I'll pretty much put down a skeleton that if nobody else heard what the record turned into, they would be okay with the demo. Like whether it be the drums, you know, whether it be I don't know, a bass that I use or whatever. It's a pretty detailed, you know, idea of it coming from me. Like, you know, whenever I'm doing demos. Obviously, I don't do it all the way. Obviously, I'll call amazing people to do what they do, but they have a very clear idea of what I want without me having to say anything.
Wow, I'm so behind, man. I'm such an analog guy, and I'm so behind. I got the native instrument machine, and they send me all the plugins, all the this, all of that. I try to mess with. I'm trying to get to it, but I'm working on the next album right now, and I have a vision of what it's like. And there's just improvisation is such a big part of my faults. So I'm just used to being able to go to the studio and just do this and do that and this and that, and kind of. But I know that it is really where I'm going, because I'm trying to get a lot of three-part harmony, three-part vocal harmony, and I know that I kind of have to flesh it out this time. It cannot just be the lines like I did on the last one.
Gotcha.
But I'm so behind, man. It's shameful. So, man, I don't even know if I should bring this up at all, but
bring it up, man.
You, the couple times. Well, I don't know how we even opened this, but you bravely opened the album, and there's also comes in later with messages from your mom. And every time I was blown away when it came, and the strings are in, and then you kill it with the horn. But ever since she passed, man, it's been hitting me like I'm on the floor, man, dying. And I thought that it's just such a brave move, especially this year. Like, we haven't been able to go see my family at all. I miss my parents. Like, I can't even begin to describe it. And, you know, we're getting to the point in our life when we realize that time is precious and you just never know. And it's just so much more meaningful now, especially knowing that person, she was kind of like everyone's mom in a way. I mean, I met her for 5 minutes. She was like an aunt to me. So that soul and that charisma, you know, morphed to her son's big time. But where did that idea come from? What did it mean to you then? What does it mean to you now?
Man, the idea of voicemail is, I don't know. That's one of my, I don't know if I can say favorite songs, but it's probably one of the most important things I feel I've ever done as an artist. Basically, creating a monument for somebody that I love, a monument for my mother in a musical kind of way, because I do music. So I have a big family. So on that record, I guess if people get a chance to really listen to it, you'll hear that there's like 11 of my siblings singing on the record. Yeah. In some way a part of it. But the reason I did that is my mother, just an amazing person. She was the pillar of our family, you know, when it came to the consciousness, the morality, the idea of being a great person. It came from her. When she was sick, you know, well, before she was sick, I had the idea that I wanted to do this because she would leave me these voice messages. I'd be on tour or whatever, and maybe I couldn't pick it up in time to talk to her, and she would just leave the most perfect message. I have many of them, you know, still saved, and it's always a word, you know, a word of encouragement, of love, of hope, and it keeps me going. So every time I perform, I have to start off with this song. But you know what the real meaning of when it happened was, my mother had a heart attack, and I was thinking about doing it, and that just made me just say, you know what, let me do it. Let me get all of my people together. I want to do this, and I want to play it for my mom. So I finish it. It gets mixed before it's mastered. I, you know, I send it. You know, I send it to her, you know, to the hospital to play it. And after she hears it, she's sedated for like 10 days, you know, and she came back after that, and I had another year with her. But she had the opportunity to hear it, and they played it for the entire time she was, you know, sedated. But I had that opportunity to give her my whole heart before she was gone. And at a time like this, during COVID, you just never really know. You know, so many people, I mean, you know, rest in peace to the great Wallace Roney and Ellis Marsalis, so many amazing people who are not here anymore. Sometimes as artists, whatever you do, you don't even have to be an artist, whatever you do, if you have that opportunity to build a monument to somebody you love, you have to take that opportunity, because you know, tomorrow's not promised. Not even the rest of the day is not promised. So I really, you know, took that on. I had my man Darren Atwater arrange the strings. But the song is powered by my mother's voice, because her message was always so strong. Her, you know, when she talked to you, she, you know, you feel like she's yours. You know, that's how my mom, and the idea of her voice, you know, which inspired me. And she would always tell me that, Keyon, you know, you have to get your own voice. You hear everybody else, that's cool, but, you know, the way people know who you are, you know, it's your voice. And she used to always say this scripture, you know, my sheep, you know my voice. So that's what she would always say to me over and over again. You know, as a musician, I've taken that on, that, you know, I can do a lot of shit. I can work with a lot of different people, but, you know, every piece of music that I do is powered by my voice. It's powered by my sound. You know, any, you know, young cats, talking to different cats, I get an opportunity to really talk to them. Everybody, you're gonna learn what B flat 7 is. You're gonna learn what G minor, you know, it's only a couple different notes, but how do you make those notes yours? Like, what is your voice? Like, what is your, like what?
Man, you're one of the only people that of our age group, of our peers, that someone can transcribe all the solos and they would still not get it. I mean, I know you know what I mean. I mean, I always tell students, you go to YouTube and you see people play Bach on piano, and this one plays this one plays that, the same notes. It's never about the notes. I mean, any kid could play any solo from Miles's kind of blues solos. Mm-hmm. And I cannot think of a better example, but I'm jumping off point here. I don't mean to put you on the spot, but when we were young, we were playing and digging. I never had the courage to ask this. And nowadays it just seems more important. And your mom's message on the album is just, it's so ahead of its time in just so many ways, so many sad ways. I think it was a cop-out on my part, because I didn't grow up within the American culture, black or white, and I just didn't have the tools. I was too young. I didn't have the tools to ask the questions then, but I have the tools to educate myself now. Mm-hmm. What does it mean to be a black man, a black father, and a strong one, and an innovator in America nowadays? I mean, what are we talking about? What's the experience?
Man, the experience is taking, you know, what has been before, you know, what it is now, and how do we make it better? How do we take, you know, the pluses and the minuses, how do you spin those? I mean, since we're improvisational beings, it's like, how do I take, you know, the good parts of my upbringing and the not so good parts to make it something special and something that, you know what, I can leave this earth a better place because, there's so much into it. You know, obviously, when you think about the idea of slavery, you think the idea about the Jim Crow, and you have to think about the idea of civil rights. We're still fighting for all these things just to be seen as a whole man, as a whole creature, as a whole being. Unfortunately, it's not recognized by all. You know, the idea of, you know, watching the presidential debate the other day shows it. You know, everybody's not able to admit to what happened, so we can move forward, so we can actually make, push to equality. So my idea of music, my idea of making a statement has to do with it all. It's all connected. It's not mutually exclusive. Of a person being able to say what it is that I want to say what it is that I want, to say what it is that I need and that I desire and that I, what I aspire to be, and it be respected wholly, in that way, not just because I'm Black, not just because I come from Ferguson, not just because I play the trumpet, but because I'm a man and I'm whole, and what I say matters and my life matters. That is a struggle, unfortunately, that Black people in America have to deal with. Unfortunately, it is what it is, and it's a part of the rules. Sometimes you get on a keyboard and sometimes the D sharp doesn't work. What do? Do you say I quit because the D sharp doesn't work? No, you say, let me figure out how to get around this. Let me figure out how to make a beautiful melody in spite of this. You know what? That might be my new sound that I skip, I have to figure out something else. Sometimes being limited in a way gives you a better canvas to work with, because you have one less rule to deal with. And it's a beautiful thing. For me, I take everything that I have, I count it all a blessing, and then I try to, like photosynthesis, make it into something else, some kind of beauty that will edify this world, that'll edify my peers, that'll edify, my family. It's always about that for me. Life, to me, music is more than just the notes. It's the spirit that you put into it. It's the intention. That's what made Miles great. That's what made Coltrane great. That's what made anybody, you can say their name and you say, oh my God, Howlin' Wolf was amazing. Anybody can sing that, but it's the spirit that's, that's spewed through it that actually changes hearts and minds. So anytime I'm working on something, that's when I'm trying to create some kind of a vessel in the music that will allow me to basically spew my spirit into somebody else. And hopefully that's only good vibes.
Man, I don't know if you're just the uber optimistic or just so noble. You keep blowing me away, really, honestly. I'm going back to specific career things.
Okay.
So I've seen you play live. I mean, for 20 years now, but I've seen you with your own band about a couple of years back. And what I've seen you do to an audience in a super large festival surrounding, I don't think I've seen. It's very, 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 very rare, the kind of impact that you had. I mean, we were speechless. Is this something, this kind of projection, this kind of thing, this kind of size for every statement, is that something that you learn on hip hop stages? I mean, where does that come from? It's not from playing clubs with me in New York.
Oh, man, it's, what it is? It's, I'll just say, I don't know, it's like a microphone. It's like when you go to the studio and you turn on a microphone, you can have a Shure, you can have a 57, or you can have, the best Telefunken.
This is the Jazz Time show. The Shure thing is on Tuesdays. We can talk about Shure on a different day.
You can have a 57 or a 58, or you can have, like a crazy, a Sony $25,000 mic. It doesn't matter. And, it depends on what the message is. The mic is just an amplification of what that message is. And if your heart is pure, and if the music is solid, if the sound is real, then, that little microphone is only gonna, make it louder, pretty much.
I'm not talking about the mic. I'm talking about you. I'm talking about the size, the projection. I mean, I played through mics.
No,
You know what I mean, man. Don't
what I'm saying.
avoid the question.
Yeah. What I'm saying is that message is equal to the notes. That heart is equal to the notes. That, you know, that whatever that feeling is of hope, of it might be sadness, whatever it is, whatever message that you got coming from this eternal, you know, shell, going through that microphone, no matter what kind of microphone is, whether it be 2 people or whether it be 100,000 people, that microphone is only there to amplify what already is. There doesn't even need to be a microphone on. The message is the same. You know, what's changing is the medium.
Man, you're so humble. We cannot keep doing this. So let's talk about specific lessons. Now, because this is, you know what I mean. You give me the juice. I'm just going to throw out names. Give me one sentence of what you learned from them.
Okay.
First being Eminem.
Eminem. What I learned from Eminem: how to be cool and be dope, kill it, be 100% sure of yourself, and walk away. You know, Eminem got right to come to the stage, come to rehearsal, kill that shit. And it'd be like, okay, we did that. All right, see you later. Done.
All right, Charles Tolliver.
Charles Tolliver. Charles Tolliver is my man, my mentor.
First time I heard you, man. First time I heard you, I wasn't at the school yet, and I was subbing for Moreno.
Wow.
It was with Tolliver, and I remember I was afraid to even speak or play one note, and you played, and my jaw was on the floor.
Oh man, Charles Tolliver is my man, my big brother, uncle, whatever you want to call him, godfather, it doesn't even matter. He believed in me. You know, he started a big band and was like, yo, and at this time he wasn't playing a lot. So he said, what I need you to do is I need you to play whenever I point to you. So, you know, he started the big band and we did the record With Love. And
did he know that he's unleashing the monsters? I mean, all over when he's saying that?
He definitely did, because he had me and he had Glasper.
Yeah.
So he would always tell me, because I would do a gig and he would be like, yo, I want you to bring me the mini disc, you know, because I want to listen to it. And he would listen to it and he'd be like, you know, you sound great, but I need you to, you know, take no prisoners. Take no prisoners. Anytime I think about Tolliver, it's always him saying, take no prisoners. Leave it all out for everybody. You know, don't have anything else left. You know, play your chops out. Leave it there. Leave the blood on the dance floor. You know,
yeah.
That was him.
What a hero that guy is. It's just him and Harper. I mean, absolute hero.
Both of them. You know, Billy.
Yeah. All right. Next one is Jay-Z. I mean, what did you take from the experience?
Jay-Z.
What is it like?
I mean, working with Jay-Z, you know, was all about greatness and about wherever you come from. Once again, going back to the idea of the microphones, you know, whether it be you playing in front of 2 people or in front of 1 million people, that the message is what it is that people are eating up, whether you sell this shit, you know, boutique style or in a way that's like a, you know, what do you call it? Like, I don't know, for everybody, you know, mass produced. It's all the same, you know, and you got to be great and you got to be cool with where it is that you come from, you know, because that is the power. You know, that's what makes you different. You know, your experiences make you different. The notes are going to be the same, and they know but 12 different notes. You know, and it's like, okay, so what's going to make that different? The spirit of where you came from, the spirit of, you know, how you deal with certain things, how you communicate, how you learn to communicate, the good, the bad, and the ugly. You know, I give it to you all. That's how Jay-Z is. That's how, you know, how he was when I was working with him. You know. Got a chance to
next one coming up is Gregory Porter. I remember you were telling me about Porter. We're talking about 2005. I mean, no one knew who he was. They had that gig on, I think it's 13th Street or something. I forget the name of that place. It had like a weekly thing there. And you were telling me about this. I mean, you said it's like the most soulful, the greatest, the most beautiful. And I was too dumb. And I was like, vocals? I don't want to play with vocals. I want to play with Keyon. So what's the experience like? Stand next to that guy and play with him, and that huge sound that you think.
Man, I guess I'll say that the underlining strand of this conversation is the power of the voice. And the voice could be spoken word, it can be a vocal, it could be a horn, it could be a whatever. The power of the voice can power, can power thought, and it is a really real thing. Working with Gregory Porter, you will lose. You won't be able to stand with that guy if you don't have a sound, because his sound is so profound, it's so polished, it's so earthy, so soulful, but at the same time so intellectually perfect on a level of, when you think of on the level of Donny Hathaway and Frank Sinatra. Donny Hathaway meets Frank Sinatra is like who you dealing with when you're talking about Gregory Porter. And if you couple that with his songs, it is a beautiful thing. I mean, just Gregory's just I don't know, he's the epitome of greatness right now. And he's a living person, which is amazing. It sounds like his voice has been here forever.
Yeah. Perfectly well said. So I'm getting to the last question or so. Anything you want to ask me? Anything you want to hit me with? Besides the regular things?
I want to know what's going on with you. When we're going to play? We've been talking.
We were supposed to play for my CD relief thing in New York, man.
Yes.
We were supposed to do that hit at Dizzy's, and I probably shouldn't be saying this, but the only cat that didn't even ask when, how much money, just said, "Yeah, man, I'm there," is you. I mean,
brother, that's you know what? Listen, at the end of the day,
completely. Don't even continue the sentence. Man,
it's so much. So that's so much more at this time when we're thinking about COVID, when we're thinking about just the state of our world. If you don't have anything, if your connection with somebody is not more than money, you need to rethink it. Why? Because life is short. You can say, you know what, this gig pays $500,000, but fuck you. It's like, okay, what's the point? If you're gonna be dead tomorrow, what's the point? If you're gonna be dead after the gig, you can't even take the money. But if it's about love and it's built on something more than just, oh my God, it's I don't know. I feel like it's lame, because you can't take any money to your grave. You can't take anything to your grave.
Man, just that whole peer thing. I mean, I get a text message. I don't want to name any names on this when we're live, but I get a text message on Instagram for someone, I don't know him well. He's real tight with you, a pianist, a great pianist, saying, "Man, I voted for you," and I don't even know what he's talking about. And I'm like, man, I'm not even running, but I know you know what I'm talking about, and I'm not gonna name any names or mention any brands because, but. I cannot really think, there's almost no one that I have the kind of respect I have as much as I have towards you. I mean, if we're doing a show that's about greatness and about musical legends and about the Ron Carters and these guys with the Christian McBrides, man.
Legends.
The kind of musical intelligence, I don't even know the word because the word talent is thrown around a lot or whatever. The kind of thing that you bring on a nightly basis over I think we've been together for 19 years. You never fail to inspire me, man. I cannot really tell you enough. And I think this bond, I mean, I think that's what the audience hears as well. So I'm going to close with two things. A, I'm going to tell people to check out your album. I know they already have, but I'm check it out again. It has an unbelievable band on it. My brother Neil Felder is on it, killing it. He has a new album on Rope-A-Dope called 2 that you should check out as well, which is amazing.
We're playing tomorrow.
Oh, nice. That happened for me. We just talked, like a week ago. So
Yeah.
I'm just going to wrap with you on a couple of people that I know we both love. And just give me one sentence of each, and then we go home.
Okay.
Morgan, the Sidewinder.
Hey, the Godfather. The Godfather of soul and swag and just pimp. He's pimp. Come on, man.
I always thought that you had a thing with this album because you have a way of being completely artistic yet completely uplifting. I mean, you have that uplift in your sound. I mean, nowadays everybody wants to be avant-garde, blah, blah, blah. But I've seen what you do to crowds. So that's, as far as I'm concerned, this whole album is unbelievable. But I always kind of saw it with you in many ways.
Man, I love Lee Morgan so much. The first solo I ever transcribed was Morgan the Pirate from Lee Morgan. Yeah.
Nice. I could have picked anyone, but I'm a huge Sweets Addison guy, and I know that you have it there. This is the St. Louis thing, the Ferguson thing. I mean, just the history, you know how to play with the vocalist like almost no one else knows but him. What does it mean to hear that sound?
It's an interesting connection, bro. I never made that connection, but now I'm going to really explore it. Even though I've always known it, I've never said it out. Just like you were saying earlier, some things you don't even say out. But Sweets is definitely that guy who once again was a voice that was behind great voices. And having the opportunity to play with Gregory Porter and Erykah Badu and fucking Mary J. Blige and Bilal and so many people, I don't know. I think there's a real unique connection to that, being able to be that person behind a great voice.
I always kind of thought of you linked directly to the way he played behind Billy and behind Sinatra. Always completely there for me.
I promise you.
And also the soulfulness of the sound. Soulfulness.
Yeah, Sweets.
I mean,
the truth.
We've been in Europe running that for a year now. I mean, just about. We were supposed to move back to New York, and then COVID happened, and that's the thing I miss the most. Like I play with cats, or I go to a jam session, and people play the notes, but they don't get that soul. You know what I mean? That even Billy Harper, people think about him avant-garde. You got soulfulness.
Oh man, absolutely.
So another quote, Miles. I could take any second quintet thing, but I kind of think that this one has a thing for you.
That's the epitome of it, man.
What does it mean? Tell me what it's like to play trumpet listening to this.
Man, to play trumpet listening to that, it makes you want to rethink, should I play trumpet or should I play something else? But I mean, it's great. It's Miles at his best. It's Wayne Shorter at his best as far as composition. It's the quintet at their best, as far as the way they gel and the way they're able to literally change music like mysteriously, like a magician, change music. And I don't know, it's the epitome of the search, and it's just a beautiful thing, man. Every time I hear that record, it's just like, wow, I didn't hear that last time. Wow. Is that what this really means? It just makes you question everything every time you hear it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't think I ever asked anyone this. Everybody always talk about the Miles sound, the ballads, this. He was an architect. He was a chess player. Blah blah blah. Just the sheer virtuosity. I mean, trumpet virtuosity on this is. I mean, it's just like a.
I mean, it's pure. It's pure. It's pure. From the technical standpoint, it's pure. from the first of all the theoretical point of view, it's pure, but the idea of, I guess, as humans, our biggest our biggest thing is having the ability to have a choice, and Miles's choices are simply the best. You know, and when you think about,
I'm gonna steal this line from you. I'm
Hey.
gonna steal this line.
hey, still away. It just is. I mean, just think about all of the greatest people that you know, all the people who are close to you in your life. The ones that you respect are really connoisseurs and really great collectors of really cool shit. Miles had the ability to do that in real time with the notes. So it's always a beautiful thing. And he would never repeat himself in that way, but it was always perfectly done. Whether he was, you know, in the high octaves or the low octaves, playing soft, playing loud, he knew exactly what emotion to invoke in every solo, in every head, in every tune. It was just like, wow, how do you lead these people? So I'm always inspired by that, man, which is just like, wow, every time.
So I have a few more here. It's really never ending, but I'll just say one more because I have better questions to ask you. Freddie, first of all, just the writing on this album is beyond a joke. It's just unbelievable.
True.
And just the combination of Bill Evans and Roy Haynes. But we can talk about this album. We can just talk about Freddie.
Man, that album, I mean, Freddie, the joy that's in Freddie's sound, the joy that's in every note that he played. I mean, as a trumpet player, and I got a chance to tell him this, man, at the Iridium. I got a chance to say, you know what, Freddie, I really appreciate who you were and who you are as a trumpet player. You really changed the vocabulary of what the modern trumpet sound should be. That was Freddie Hunt. You know, when you think about records like Imperial Isles, when you think about things like just the classic Herbie Hancock records that had Freddie on it, it was just kind of like, man.
Free for all, yeah, it's just a never-ending list.
Oh my God, just you know, Children of the Night. It's just like, just to hear his tone and his dexterity and his I would say his youthfulness in music, in art, in melody, because everything, you know, Freddie played, he was very melodic. You can sing everything Freddie does, from the articulations to the note choices to the phrasings, to how he could just, I don't know, he can nail you to the wall.
Yeah.
And it was all voice like. When you listen to his vibrato, it was very personal and very beautiful, and it always engaging and it just captures you. You know, Freddie is definitely, you know, my guy when it comes to, you know, just being able to say a phrase, like play a phrase, like just Freddie, man, he's definitely the guy.
Yeah. So, man, I gotta wrap this up because I have to make dinner for my loved one. She's coming home from a sold-out show, and I gotta be the guy. So,
fantastic.
I'm waiting for the next album. I mean,
they're coming, and it's gonna come in bunches.
There you go.
Yeah. So, I've been a little slow as to, you know, putting music out a lot. I mean, I record with a lot of different people, a lot of records that I'm on. So
yeah, and you also tour hard. You also tour really hard, like old school hard. So, bro, I gotta tell you this. I love you so much, man. You're just so amazing to me in so many levels. Send my love to the family, all of them. I just can't wait to make more music. Can't wait to see you real soon. We gotta get this over with.
Yes,
we gotta get you over here. I gotta get over there. Gotta get you my next album.
Yes.
Yo, did I send you this? Did I send you this one? It just came out?
No, I don't have it yet. Send it to me, brother.
Now you're talking. I'm getting right on it.
Yeah, send it to me, and let's
out.
definitely work on the next one.
There we go.
Super down, you know that.
Man, just stay safe. Keep everyone safe over there. Tell them I love him, and I'll see you. Thanks for coming on the show.
Hey, it's my pleasure, bro. Thanks for having me. I love you. You know that. Shout out to my friend Lewis. Hopefully we can work on something at some point, man. It'd be a beautiful thing.
It would be a great pleasure. It would be an honor. Keyon, thank you so much for your time. Dekel, just the two of you. I mean, I kind of want to start over listening to music, hearing you talk about it, because it's like, it's opening up all kinds of new understandings for me. I hope the audience feels the same way. I'm sure they do. Big thanks to Jazz Times for presenting this. We are going to be back in, I'll be back with Dekel on Tuesday for the Shore presentation. Check it out on the Shore channel, where Dekel interviews some of the top engineers and producers in the world. And then next Thursday, Dekel will be back here with Ethan Iverson. Go to KeyonHarrold.com, get on the socials, check this guy out. If you're not familiar, you should be, but it's deep. All right, thanks so much.
Pleasure. Peace and love.